Lewis Hamilton is one of the most experienced and successful drivers in Formula One history. With 7 world championships and hundreds of races behind him, he knows how things are supposed to feel inside the cockpit. That's why when Hamilton asked over the radio if his Ferrari race engineer, Riccardo Adami, was upset with him, it wasn't a random comment. It wasn't just a joke or a casual question. It was a sign that something much deeper is going on between the driver and the man who is supposed to guide him through the chaos of a race. That question revealed a serious crack in the trust and communication between them. It showed that Lewis doesn't feel connected to the person on the other end of the radio. And in Formula One, that's a problem bigger than most people realize. Hamilton is no stranger to change. He has switched teams before. He has worked with different engineers. He knows what it takes to build a relationship and adapt to a new environment. But this situation with Adami isn't about adapting. It's not just about giving it time or learning a new system. This is about trust, or more accurately, the lack of it. When a driver feels like their engineer is not fully with them, not responding clearly, or even going silent at important moments, the damage is not just on the technical side. The damage is psychological. In Formula One, psychology is performance. It's the hidden factor behind every lap time, every overtaking move, every tire strategy. When Lewis was at Mercedes, he had Pete Bonington, also known as Bono, by his side. Bono wasn't just a voice on the radio. He was like Hamilton's second brain. He knew when to push, when to calm him down, when to warn him, and when to let him fly. The relationship was built on trust, experience, and total understanding. They won world titles together, not just because Mercedes built fast cars, but because the communication between driver and engineer was strong, clear, and reliable. That kind of relationship cannot be replaced easily. At Ferrari, Riccardo Adami is not filling that role in the way Hamilton needs. Instead of being a calm and clear partner during high-pressure moments, Adami's voice on the radio has become a source of stress. There have been key moments in races where Hamilton needed quick, direct information and got silence. Or worse, he got vague, delayed answers that left him confused and doubting. That kind of response can be worse than no response at all. This isn't just a theory or an emotional opinion. The data tells the story too. In places like Monaco, where every tenth of a second matters, the damage caused by hesitation is clear. On lap 32 of the race, when Hamilton asked for the delta time he needed to push and overtake, there was a pause. Silence. Then came a delayed and unclear message. By that time, the window had already passed. The moment was gone. On tracks like Monaco, where overtaking is almost impossible and timing is everything, that kind of delay is a huge problem. The telemetry shows it too. Experts who have studied the data noticed a change in Hamilton's driving during that period. There was a small hesitation in his inputs, a slight uncertainty in his cornering. These are not the mistakes of a rookie or someone who has lost talent. These are the small signs of a driver second-guessing his instructions. And in Formula One, a tenth of a second lost can mean a position lost. That hesitation, that doubt, it wasn't about speed. It was about trust. What's even more worrying is that these problems are not just seen on the outside. Inside the paddock, people are talking. Former drivers like Juan Pablo Montoya have even gone public with their opinions. Montoya said that if an engineer goes silent during a race, he is not fit to support a world champion. He didn't say it as a casual remark. He said it as someone who has been there, who knows what it means to be in that cockpit, fighting for every inch, depending on the man on the radio to be your lifeline. At Ferrari, things are not so simple. This is not just a technical issue. It's also a political one. Adami is not just an engineer. He is seen as one of Fred Vasseur's loyal figures, someone deeply rooted in Ferrari's old culture. And Hamilton, no matter how famous he is still the outsider in Maranello. That makes this problem even harder to fix, because changing the engineer would not just be a technical decision, it would be a political statement. It would be Ferrari admitting that something is wrong with the way they've set up Hamilton's support system. And that's a move the team leadership might not be ready to make. This silence and delay on the radio is not just poor communication, it's slowly turning into psychological sabotage. Not intentionally, perhaps, but the result is the same. Hamilton goes into every race needing to trust the people around him. If that trust is broken, even slightly, it affects everything. Every braking point, every gear shift, every decision in battle. And if his engineer is not responding clearly or at all, then that battle becomes harder than it already is. While drivers like Max Verstappen are getting fast, clear updates from their engineers, Hamilton is left wondering if his team is even on the same page. That kind of uncertainty spreads. It affects confidence, it affects pace, and it affects results. Ferrari says that these things take time, that they're still adjusting, that the partnership between Hamilton and Adami just needs more races to settle. But time in Formula One is not your friend. Every race that passes without full trust is a missed chance. And for a driver like Hamilton, who doesn't have endless seasons ahead of him, every missed chance brings him closer to the end of his career without that historic 8th world title. What makes this situation more frustrating is that it's not about Hamilton's driving. He is still fast, still sharp, still hungry, and it's not about the SF25 car alone either, even though it has its own problems. The real issue, right, now is the man behind the radio button. The person who should be guiding Hamilton through the chaos, but instead is creating more of it with unclear communication and a cold tone that lacks connection. There have been reports from inside Ferrari suggesting that Adami and Hamilton's interactions are not warm. In meetings, Adami avoids eye contact. Their talks feel transactional, not like the kind of partnership that wins races. That may not seem like a big deal from the outside, but in F1, chemistry matters. If the person guiding your strategy, giving you critical updates, and helping you make split-second calls doesn't feel fully aligned with you, then mistakes will happen, not because of a lack of skill, but because of a lack of unity. This is the deeper danger Ferrari now faces. If they keep pretending everything is fine, they are risking far more than a few points in the standings. They are risking the collapse of their entire Hamilton project. Because if the driver doesn't trust the engineer and the team refuses to make a change, then the whole system is flawed. You can't fix that with car upgrades or new tires. You can only fix it by changing the human connection, or changing the humans involved. Hamilton knows this. He's seen it before. At Mercedes, he built an empire of trust, not just with Bono, but with the whole team. Everyone knew their role. Everyone had his back. That doesn't exist yet at Ferrari. And unless the team takes serious steps, it may never happen. Now Hamilton faces one of the hardest choices of his career. He can demand a new engineer and risk causing tension inside Ferrari, maybe even be blamed for breaking the unity of the team. Or he can stay silent, keep going with Adami, and risk sabotaging his own chance at the 8th title. Both paths are dangerous. Ferrari is not a team that easily gives control to outsiders. If they replace Adami, it might be seen as Hamilton taking over, something the old Ferrari culture strongly resists. But if they don't replace him, the situation might only get worse. Time is running out. Hamilton needs to feel supported now, not next season. He needs a voice on the radio he can trust, someone who speaks with clarity, urgency, and confidence. Right now he doesn't have that, and every race that goes by without fixing it is another race lost. The silence on the radio has already spoken volumes. It says that this relationship is broken, not building. It says that Ferrari is either ignoring the problem or too scared to fix it. And that should worry every fan who hopes to see Hamilton succeed in red. This situation also shows the deeper struggle inside Ferrari, the clash between the old guard and the new star. Hamilton came to Ferrari hoping to build something great, something historic.